So we are in chapter number 10th of Bhagavad Gita. The chapter name is The Opulence of the Absolute. So let's start with this chapter. Uh, this chapter 10, as the name suggests, uh, the opulences of Krishna are given. And the verses speak about how we can know Krishna. How Krishna is the source of all will be all explained in this chapter. And how, if we know Krishna, we can be free of all sins. And this chapter contains the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita from verse number 8 to 11, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is called the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. The most important verses from Bhagavad Gita are there in this chapter. And then from 12 to 18, we'll see how Krishna will accept the Lord's Krishna's supreme position, and he will glorify Krishna and even quote other sages that how they also confirm this truth. So in this way, he'll tell, and then Lord Krishna will describe his vibhutis or opulences in the rest of the chapter. So how we can see, so in different things, how we can see Krishna. So this will all be seen in the rest of the chapter. So let's begin this chapter with verse number 1. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shunu me paramam vacha Yatte aham priyamanaya Vakshyami hita kamyaya. The Supreme Personality of God said, listen again, O mighty Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So here again, Krishna is giving a knowledge which is better than the previous knowledge. And why he is giving this knowledge? Again, here says that because you are my dear friend. So this knowledge is again not available for persons who are envious, who are faithless. So they cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. They can by heart shlokas, they can write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, but they will not be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. So this is what the purport of this verse is. Purport. The word Bhagwan is explained thus by Parashar Muni. One is in full in 6 opulences. One has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. Is Bhagwan or the Supreme Personality of God. So anytime somebody asks that who is called Bhagwan? So Parashar Muni has kindly explained this to us, that Bhagwan means one who has the 6 opulences, like he has full strength. Somebody in this world may have some strength, but he does not have full strength, like Krishna lifted Govardhan. So nobody in this world can do that. And his full fame, till now, Krishna has left this world after 5,000 years also, he is famous. And he had lot of wealth. He gave one bungalow to each of her queens. And there are 16,108 queens. So he gave one bungalow to each. Which person in today's world can provide a bungalow to so many wives? And he was supreme knowledgeable. And therefore, we see this Bhagavad Gita. We are trying to understand this Bhagavad Gita for so many days. But this Bhagavad Gita was spoken in 45 minutes. Then Krishna also spoke Uddhav Gita to Uddhavji in Canto 11th of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he's supreme knowledgeable. And he was so beautiful that he was Kamdev personified. Even Kamdev was bewildered after seeing him, and therefore he is also called as Madana Mohana, the person who captured even Madan. And the renunciation, so he was so renounced that after killing the king, he will not take the kingdom of that person. Like he uh, killed Jarasan through Bhima, but he never became the king. He enthroned his son only to become the king of that kingdom. But in this way, even in Dwarka, he did not become the king. So he was completely renounced, and therefore is called Bhagwan. So while Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed his all six appearances. Therefore, great sages like Parashar Muni have all accepted Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confident knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the seventh chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now in this chapter, he explains specific opulences to Arjuna. In previous chapters, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. So, again, we see how he manifested and different opulences, which we see. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotion service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotion service. Very important. We should never stop hearing. The more we hear, the more we will become fixed in devotional service. And we should hear in the association of devotees. And therefore, uh, devotees gives a chance for us to read and hear, and therefore they are most beneficial to all. Discourse in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. So, only in the society of devotees, such topics can be discussed. And we see even Krishna speaks that the Bhagavad Gita knowledge should not be given to the person who are faithless. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is only for a person who is faithful, who has faith in Krishna. And therefore, here say the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. So, Bhagavad Gita is meant for the benefit of the devotees. And therefore, Gita should be read again and again to understand well. Others cannot take part in such discourses. Anyways, if they take also, they will be bored and they will leave it. And therefore, we see that so many people join the Bhagavad Gita class on the first few days, but after a few days, they leave and only few remain. Those who are really interested in knowing Krishna, those who are really interested in devotional service. Others, they don't remain. Now here, Krishna again speaks that nobody actually knows him. And therefore, Krishna will have to speak about himself so that we can know him. Otherwise, knowing Krishna is not easy. So verse is Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasham. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So there are so many demigods, Indra, Chandra, Vayu, but they cannot know Krishna completely. And there are so many sages, they also cannot know Krishna completely. Because All the demigods and sages have come from Krishna. And Krishna is superior to all of them. So, by one's intelligence, actually, we cannot know Krishna because our intelligence is very, very limited. So, maybe we can know some very little things about Krishna. But to fully understand Krishna is not possible for us in this stage. Purport. I said in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord, no one is greater than him. He is the cause of all causes. Here it is also stated by the Lord personally that he is the cause of all demigods and sages. Even demigods and great sages cannot understand Krishna. They can understand neither his name nor his personality. So, what is the position of so called scholars of this tiny planet? So, big people, big sages, their whole life they are trying to understand Krishna. Like we see the yogis, the meditation on super soul, they read so many books, they follow so many austerities just so that they may be able to understand Krishna. But they are not able to understand Krishna. So, today's world, when so many people claim that they know God, they claim that they have become God. So, how can it be true when so many sages and rishis are not able to understand Krishna? Not possible. No one can understand why the Supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes such wonderful, uncommon activities. It's a mystery why Krishna takes birth in this material world. Sometimes it's said that he comes here to annihilate the impious and protect the pious. But this he can do without himself coming. He can send one of his empowered representative to this task. Sometimes it is said that he came because of the austerities of the tapasya of so many devotees who are calling him. So, in this way, so many people give different um, needs or different reasons why Krishna comes. But the main reason why Krishna comes in material world is so that we can glorify him, we can chant his pastimes, we can read his pastimes. And this way, by reading his pastimes, by glorifying Krishna in different ways, we can go back to Godhead. So he comes here to claim the conditioned souls. Even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation, and they have failed to do so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is clearly stated, it is clearly said that even the great demigods are not able to understand the supreme personality of Godhead. They can speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the conclusion of impersonalism, or something opposite to what is manifested by the three qualities of material nature. Or they can imagine something by mental speculation, but it is not possible to understand Krishna by such foolish speculation. So, the intelligence which we have is material, and Krishna is spiritual. So, by this material intelligence, however we may try, it is not possible for us to understand Krishna because our senses are imperfect. They do a lot of mistakes. There is a changing tendency. Like when we see rope in the night, it looks like snake to us. So like this, we are illusion. We have so many defects, and therefore, uh, it's not easy for us to understand Krishna. Here, the Lord indirectly says that if anyone wants to know the absolute truth, here I am present as the Supreme Personality of God. I am the Supreme. One should know this. Although one cannot understand the inconceivable Lord who is personally present, he nonetheless exists. We can actually understand Krishna who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. Simply by studying his words, or in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the conception of God as some ruling power or as the impersonal Brahman can be reached by persons who are in far who are in the inferior energy of the Lord. But the personality of God cannot be convinced unless one is in transcendental position. So, when we read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam from the standard scriptures, we can know that Krishna is eternal, he is full of knowledge and bliss. He is Satchidananda. So, there are different conceptions of God. Somebody said that he is a ruling power, or somebody said impersonal Brahman. So, uh, for somebody to understand that Krishna is a supreme ruling power, or this also materialists can also understand this in some way or other. Like there are tsunamis, there are something like nature. So somebody can know that there is some power beyond this nature and all. They can understand. But to know that Krishna is Akhil Rasamrita Sindhu, or Krishna is the resort of all rasas, this cannot be known by all. This requires that they actually are devotees of the Lord. They only can understand these things. And therefore, one has to have transcendental position. Because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor on such speculators. Yet, despite the Supreme Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination of the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the supreme. So, we cannot understand Krishna, and therefore, Krishna comes here himself so that he can show mercy to us. But sometimes, due to the contamination of material energy, what happens is people consider that the impersonal Brahman is supreme, or Krishna has come from impersonal Brahman, and again will get merged into that impersonal Brahman. Like this, some people think. So only the devotees who are fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord can understand by the grace of Supreme Personality that He is Krishna. The devotees of the Lord do not bother about impersonal Brahman conception of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately unto the Supreme Lord, and out of the causeless mercy of Krishna, they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand Him. So even the great sages agree, what is Atma, what is the Supreme? It is He whom we have to worship. So we can know here that we are just trying to understand Gita. By our own intelligence, we will not be able to understand Gita and all. It is only by the causeless mercy of Krishna that we can understand Bhagavad Gita. So we are just trying to put our endeavor to please Krishna. Our endeavor is only to please Krishna. And if Krishna is pleased, then he'll give us the actual knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. But for Krishna to give us actual knowledge, we need to do some endeavor from our part to show Krishna at how we are trying to understand him. And that is the endeavor which we are doing right now. Just reading something and trying to understand Krishna. But the knowledge about him can only be given by him only. And if he reveals us, then only we can know things as they are. But till then, we should try our best to understand according to the intelligence which we have been provided with. So next verse. So the question comes now, why it is necessary to know Krishna? What is the need of knowing Krishna? For the verses we saw that Krishna is giving more wonderful knowledge, and we also saw that no one knows Krishna, that how he originates. So why we need to know Krishna? If you ever need this verse. Yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammura samarteshu sarva pape pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undivided among man is free from all sins. So when we know Krishna, what will happen? We'll be free from all the sins of this material world. So therefore, knowing Krishna is of uh, supreme essence. And how he is? He's unborn. He never takes birth. He's always there. He's always so. Those who take birth has to die. But because Krishna is no birth, he does not die. He's beginningless. There is no beginning to Krishna. Because time is absent in the spiritual world. And he's supreme Lord. That is, he is the proprietor of all these material worlds. And is all one who knows him. What happens? He is also free from all sins. Purport. I said in the 7th chapter, 7.3, Manushyanam Saraseshu Kastiditi Siddhaye. Those who are trying to elevate themselves on the platform of spiritual realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and billions of ordinary men who have knowledge of spiritual realization. This is a very important line. This should give us motivation to do devotional service. That just by taking to devotional service, just by chanting the holy name, becoming a different category. Prabhupada says they are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization. So, we are not great, but by doing devotional service, what happens is we are more fortunate that we go a step closer to Krishna. And in that way, we can live a better life than so many people in this material world. But out of those who are actually trying to understand the spiritual situation, one who can come to the understanding that Krishna is Supreme Personality Godhead, the proprietor of anything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritually realized person. So, just trying to start devotional service, one becomes uh, in such a higher place, one comes in such a higher place. But if one can understand Krishna, then he comes at still higher place. He is more successful than others. And that stage only, when one has fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be free completely from all sinful reactions. So, when we are understood that Krishna is Supreme Personality God, what happens? One is freed from all sinful reactions. So, from our past, we have done so many sinful things. And in the present life also, before coming to devotional service, we have done so many sinful things. And just by knowing Krishna, all the sins of so many lifetimes are eradicated. See, in other processes, if you want to destroy your sins, then you have to do lot of activities and for lot of years. And still, one may not be completely free from all the karmas which you have done. But by starting the devotional service sincerely, what happens is one starts to get free from all the sins, from all the lifetimes which he must have done. So therefore, devotional service is far, far better than any other process in this material world to achieve salvation or to go back to God. And it is the most easiest and practical in the age of Kali. Other processes are not at all easy and they are not practical for the people living in the age of Kali Yuga. Here the Lord described by the word Aja, meaning unborn, but he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the second chapter as Aja. The Lord is different from the living entities who are taking birth and dying due to material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to the material world, he comes is the same unborn. Therefore, in the fourth chapter, it is stated that the Lord, his internal potency is not under the inferior material energy, but is always in the superior energy. So, Lord is called Aja, is unborn. So, he is not like us. He takes birth in this material according to his own choice. When we come, we are forced to take birth. We cannot choose our parents. We cannot choose the skin color which we have, the body type or height. We cannot choose anything. But Krishna comes out his own will and he can choose where he wants to come from. Sometimes he comes through parents, but other times he also can come without parents, like he comes from pillar. He takes Nasim avatar from a pillar, so which we cannot conceive of even. And therefore, uh, he is unborn. And in the fourth chapter also we saw that he comes to his internal energy, not the external energy. So we are under the clutches of external energy. But he is always superior to us. And he comes by his internal potency. So all the pure devotees of the Lord are conducted by the internal energy of the Lord, whereas others are conducted by the external energy of the Lord. And by symptoms, sometimes both may be seen similar. That even the atheists don't recognize Krishna as Supreme Personality Godhead. And even the Krishna's friend, like Subala, Sridama, they also not consider Krishna as Supreme Personality Godhead. So one may think that both are same, but no, there's vast difference. The friends of Krishna are pure devotees, and just to give pleasure to Krishna, they are acting in such way. Whereas others who don't accept Krishna as Supreme Personality Godhead, they are atheists, they are non-believers in God, and therefore the relationship is totally different with the Lord which they have, and the relationship of devotees to the Lord is totally different, and therefore we cannot equate both with each other. The Lord is different from living entities who are taking birth and dying due to the material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to the material world, he comes the same unborn. Therefore, in the fourth chapter, it said that the Lord, by his eternal potency, is not under the inferior material energy, but is always the superior energy. So, Krishna comes in the material world, but his body is totally spiritual. And our body is material. In this verse, the words Veti Loka Maheshwaram indicate that one should know that Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of the planetary systems of the universe. He was existing before the creation, and he is different from his creation. All the demigods were created in this material world, but as far as the Krishna is concerned, he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from this. So, uh, if we see, all the demigods were created in the material world, but as far as Krishna is concerned, he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different from the demigods like Brahma and Shiva, because he is the creator of even Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods. Therefore, he is the supreme person of all planets. And therefore, Krishna is the chief. Sri Krishna, therefore, is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him as such immediately becomes liberated from all sinful reactions. See, knowing means not just speaking, knowing means knowing in totality. And how do we know that one knows Krishna perfectly or not? So that means he should be free from vitaraga bhaya krodha. That is, he should be free from anger. He should be free from attachment. So he should be free from any fear. Then one is actually known that one knows Krishna. And then he can be free from sinful reaction. So one must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in knowledge of Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known, and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad. So only by devotional service we can know him. One should not try to understand Krishna as a human being. As stated previously, only a foolish person thinks him to be a human being. This is again expressed here in the different way. A man who is not foolish, who is intelligent enough to understand the constitutional position of the God, is always free from all sinful reactions. So, therefore, one need to be intelligent and need to understand his own position of Krishna and the Maya Devi. So this is called complete knowledge. And one who is knows everything will be free from all sinful reactions. If Krishna is known as the son of Devaki, then how can he be unborn? It is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. When he appeared before Devaki and Vasudev, he was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form, and then he transformed himself into ordinary child. So like we see that Krishna takes birth from Devaki and Vasudev. So it is not that he takes birth, he appears. So he comes into the mind of Vasudev, then from the mind of Vasudev, he comes to the mind of Devaki, and then he appears from the womb, but he is in the full form. Like we see in ordinary times, we see the child when he comes from the womb, he will cry and he will do so many things. But here Krishna comes full form, is effulgent, and therefore we can understand that is not ordinary. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception that there are things auspicious or inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction, because there is nothing auspicious in the material world. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to be auspicious. The real auspicious depends on the activity in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we at all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the direction of Supreme Lord. Such directions are given in the authoritative scriptures as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, or from bona fide spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord, his direction is directly the direction of Supreme Lord. The spiritual master, saintly persons, and scriptures direct in the same way. So there is a common thing that Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, they'll speak the same thing. And in this world, actually, there is nothing auspicious. Water is auspicious. We think it is auspicious now, will become inauspicious afterwards. Like we see that when a child is born, parents are very happy. But after some time, the same parents complain about a child and they are harassed by the child. Similarly, somebody gets married and they are very happy. But after the same time, they only complain and they fight and sometimes there's divorce. Similarly, the same body which is there with us, which gives us happiness in the beginning, it gives us so much pain afterwards. Every part of the body gives so much pain. The same sun, which in the morning, in this cold winter time, gives us so much joy, and we are looking for the sun. In the afternoon, the same sun scorches us. So, in this world, there is nothing auspicious actually. It's all changing. And we have seen in our life also that everything is changing. So there is no contradiction in these three sources. All actions done under the such direction are free from the reactions of previous pious and impious activities of material. The transcendent attitude of the devotee is in the performance of activities is actually that of renunciation. That is called sannyasa. As stated in the first verse of the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one who acts as a matter of duty because he has been ordered to do so by Supreme Lord and who does not seek shelter in the fruits of activities Anashita karma phalam is a true announcer. Anything acting under the direction of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not a man who has simply taken the dress of sannyasi or a pseudo yogi. So, one is real yogi is one who works for Krishna and who works as a duty and not out of personal sense gratification. Such a person is actually yogi and not a sannyasi or a pseudo yogi. So we'll pause here. Thank you very much.